I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media, and today on the Crypto Coin Show we have Derek Muhney, the Executive Vice President at Coinsource. Derek, welcome to the show and thank you for taking the time today.
Thanks for having me, Ashton.
You're very welcome. Excited to dive into the world of Bitcoin, getting it into the hands of people easily and conveniently with Bitcoin ATMs as well. Would love to jump into what Coinsource has been doing with Bitcoin ATMs in helping the mainstream adoption of Bitcoin. So let's break right into it with just starting with a little bit about the background on Coinsource and how you got involved with it, and then we'll dive into all the details.
Yeah, so Coinsource, we're a, obviously, as you know, national Bitcoin ATM operator and software developer. We developed our own proprietary operating software as well as our KYC AML compliance aspect of it. And we're a little over 7 years old now, actually approaching 8 years. And I got into it, I was one of the very first employees hired, I was number 3. Just knew the CEO, Sheffield Clark, from a previous venture, and seemed pretty exciting what he was wanting to bring to the market with cash to crypto and providing Bitcoin to the masses, regardless of whether they're banked or underbanked or unbanked. It's really been an exciting journey for these past 7+ years.
That's incredible, and I've spoken to a lot of people over the years that were interested in getting their first Bitcoins, just getting involved and in dipping their feet in, and I found that Bitcoin ATMs were a great solution for those first timers. And I can imagine over the past 8 years, that's been the case for many people, and now it's only continuing to grow. Can you talk a little bit about that 8-year journey and how exactly big Coinsource is now?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we started with just one kiosk in Las Vegas roughly 8 years ago. And from there, we've grown to have, we've got thousands of them across the country in 46 states. We're the only operating Bitcoin ATM network that has the BIT license in New York. So we've got, you could say, exclusivity there. Our model has always started and been really founded from a compliance-centric and customer-centric model. So the journey with the customers has been really, really exciting to track, just because once they do one transaction with us, they realize just how easy it is. We've got kiosks conveniently located in great locations. That's been another recipe for our success, is that we've always chosen very high quality locations. We focus on national partnerships and locations to make it very safe and efficient and effective for people to go with cash and buy Bitcoin. You always want to find the quality areas. It's never been about quantity. It's always been about quality. People want to feel safe. They want the convenience factor, but they also want to be able to get in and out, at their leisure and at their convenience. So that's what we've been focusing on, and the loyalty and the repeat business that we've seen. Yes, to your point, there's been a lot of purpose-driven customers of ours. The first time I want to get into crypto or I want to buy Bitcoin, this seems to be the safest way, the most tangible way, just because it's an actual kiosk. They can talk to our live customer support. They need any help. They get a receipt, both digital as well as printed. It just seems a little bit more real to them, if you will, than going on to an exchange and providing their banking info and stuff like that, and then buying this digital currency that they'll never be able to see, touch, smell, or fold. So it's been really, really exciting as far as that goes.
That's very exciting. Congratulations on the growth, and it's great to hear about the BIT license as well. I know it's a little bit of a bugger in New York, but to get that obviously helps, and New York's a huge hub of people to get involved in sort of the old financial system, moving over to the new. So I feel like that would be a great area as well.
Yeah.
Now, can you walk me through, say somebody's watching the video and they still haven't gotten their first Bitcoin. They look up on the map, where's the closest Coinsource ATM. They take a mobile wallet and some cash or something, and they go to the ATM. How would you explain that to somebody that, your grandma calls, she's like, I want to use the Coinsource ATM. How do I do it?
Yeah, it's a very easy process. So speaking of Bitcoin wallets, we're wallet agnostic. We do not require you to have a Coinsource specific or proprietary wallet. It's whatever wallet you feel most comfortable using, feel free. So I always encourage everyone to do their own research and choose the one that best fits their needs. There's a lot of really good decentralized apps out there. to suit those needs of each individual. So first step I'd say is obviously download a Bitcoin wallet. With us, you do have to create an account. We don't retarget or remarket or sell the information. It's just to verify the identity of the person. And then as a return, we also offer the lowest rates in the entire Bitcoin ATM industry. So it's a one-time account creation. Go to coinsource.net, takes just a few minutes. But from there, you're flying. It's a very easy process. Then you'd find the closest location to where you're at in the country. You go there, you enter your phone number in, which acts as your account number. It asks, where would you like to send the Bitcoin? That's where you would scan your Bitcoin wallet. You insert the, the amount of cash you'd like to buy Bitcoin with. We offer limits up to $8,500 each day for you to buy. And from there, it's pretty much instantaneous. You'll get a text message receipt, as you'll also get a printed receipt, and it shows obviously the amount that you purchased, the blockchain link, so you can track the confirmations on blockchain, and it's that simple. I mean,
amazing.
Start to finish, it's less than 60 seconds. You can buy Bitcoin with cash at Coinsource.
Incredible. And $8,500 sounds like a great limit for most people per day. Obviously, if you're going to be doing a lot more, there's probably other avenues besides the ATM, but that sounds like more than enough for most people. Now, going back to how you talked about the expansion and just having thousands of units now, and also getting into New York, are you seeing specific areas where you're looking to increase the amount of ATMs there even more? And also, I'm just curious on the hurdles of expanding. Obviously, getting into New York, that bit license is there's like regulations you have to go through. Do you think that will be an issue in other areas moving forward as Bitcoin becomes more mainstream?
I wouldn't necessarily say an issue, but we definitely see, and we've been encouraging this from the very beginning, is more stringent and structured regulation. So as growth continues, just in general, just as mainstream adoption continues, we encourage there to be more regulation and more just safety and security as far as how this goes. There's no secret recipe of how we got the bit license in New York. It's and there's no secret sauce that we've got per se as far as how we've gotten some of our national partnerships. We just recently announced our partnership with Quick Trip in the Midwest. They've got 811 locations. USA Today rated them the #1 gas station convenience store in the country. It was a very easy decision for them to make, as well as the New York Department of Financial Services to grant us the bit license. And it all boils down to our compliance. We most certainly have the most robust compliance aspects of the industry, and has definitely forged our position in New York with that exclusive bit license. It's forged our position with these big retailers wanting to choose us and have our Bitcoin ATMs in their locations, just because without regulation, without confirming the identity of the individual, there's just a lot of increased risk, and you're also dealing with you don't know who you're dealing with. There could be very nefarious or questionable characters that are taking advantage of a really great technology, a really great financial solution and financial service, and that's just not scalable. So we, from day one and dollar one, have always been leading with compliance, and definitely pride ourselves on being the leader in the industry as far as that goes.
That's great to hear. And I can imagine over the past 8 years, there's been multiple bull cycles and tops, and then long bear markets as well. And it seems like 2021 and 2022, at the end of 2021, it was like there was a top, and now throughout this year, it's sort of been dwindling down. And a lot of people that are just getting into Bitcoin, they usually are buying when there's all the hype. And throughout this year, as it's been going down, there's been not as much traction. I'm curious if the growth of Coinsource and the expansion, and just if you're obviously able to track how many people are buying and selling through the ATMs, has that slowed down a lot through the bear market, or are you still seeing like increased traction from new areas despite what the market conditions look like?
Well, what's really neat about having kind of the optics that we have as far as our customers and the buying patterns that they do, given the fact that there's a finite amount of Bitcoin It's been really interesting to see that, when the price goes up, people, those fun acronyms, right? The fear of missing out. They want to rush to the ATMs and buy Bitcoin before it goes even higher. When the price goes down, they look at it as a fire sale and a discount. So they also go to the ATM. So it's a great business model, just because we're providing Bitcoin and the needs of the individuals who want to buy the Bitcoin, regardless of the price of Bitcoin. And a lot of these people are not just buying it for an investment purpose. There's 1/3 of the world's population is either unbanked or underbanked. So a lot of these individuals that utilize our kiosks, knowing that it's the lowest rates in the entire Bitcoin ATM industry, knowing that they've got a safe and secure means of transacting and purchasing Bitcoin with cash through Coinsource, they're utilizing Bitcoin for their day-to-day needs. And so there is no pause, if you will, in their buying cycles and buying patterns because of the price of Bitcoin. So it's been very, very consistent, and the growth rate has been very, very smooth.
Oh, that's great to hear. And when the price does top and there's sort of hype, there's also a lot of new people that they're not very technical savvy. They're getting involved as well. I've heard stories in the past about potential scammers trying to convince people to go to Bitcoin ATMs and take some Bitcoin out and send it to them or something like that. I know that has happened in the past. How does Coinsource sort of make sure that doesn't happen and grandma doesn't get scammed or buys Bitcoin not knowing what she's doing?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So we've got a lot of safety protocols in place for brand new account creations, and if there looks to be a very large initial purchase, we have our compliance team, customer support team, actually reach out to the individuals before the transaction is complete, just to ensure that they are not falling victim to a scam. And unfortunately, we will never run out of examples of bad people taking advantage of good things. And, scams have been going on long before Bitcoin was ever even created. So with the right kind of safety protocols put in place like we have, as well as, if it just the communication, I'm a big advocate of, continuing education for this industry and for the technology. And it all boils down to some common sense also at times. If something sounds too good to be true, typically it is. You're not going to find a mint condition 64.5 Mustang that's, worth well over $100,000, but, for $1,000 in Bitcoin, somebody will ship you the Mustang. So again, it's some of it is common sense, but yeah, unfortunately there are some scams out there that people have, we've heard have fallen victim to. And just given the very nature of Bitcoin, scammers have been targeting individuals that way. So I always just say, it's buyer beware. Never send Bitcoin to somebody that you don't know. I mean, there's just some core competency, protocols that you just always have to be wary of. You wouldn't send an envelope full of cash to a stranger that's asking you for it. So, Bitcoin, it's the same thing. Just know where you're sending it, know who you're sending it to, and just use common sense.
Definitely. And speaking of envelopes of cash, these Bitcoin ATMs, if there's a lot of people depositing cash into the ATMs, obviously, while Bitcoin is digital and you can transfer it around, and you don't have to actually carry cash with you. With these ATMs, they have cash in them, and you have to take that out eventually. Otherwise, whether the scammers are targeting an individual person or they're trying to actually break into the ATM and steal cash out of it. How do you guys deal with the cash and the brick and mortar side of the transaction?
Well, there's a multitude of layers of that as far as safety goes and cash management. So, our cash logistics and business model includes obviously very, very tight armored car cash pickup services. They go to the kiosks, when very, very often whenever there's a X amount of cash in the kiosks, and to reduce that risk. But we also have, the kiosks have throughout the business life of Coinsource and the manufacturer of the kiosks, they've built newer models, stronger models, safer models, much harder to get into. They're just like traditional ATMs. Obviously, it's all about, where do you place them in the store? Do you place them right next to a glass wall that somebody can, back a truck up into a gas station? And you've heard about it all the time on the news. People stealing regular ATMs. So it's there's a lot of strategies in place with that. But fortunately, I think that also with our national retailer partnerships that we have, such as Quick Trip, you've got they're open 24 hours. They're very well lit. They're very well known, and they're also very well protected. So, that versus finding someplace, say for example, in a not so great area and like the south side of some, shady city, it probably wouldn't be a good location for a Bitcoin ATM for that risk. And so we always like to make sure that where we place our kiosks are where you yourself would feel comfortable going into with cash. And so that also is another good risk mitigator.
That's good to know. And yeah, I would guess it's just as hard to break into a Bitcoin ATM as it is, regular bank ATM. Nowadays, it's pretty tough to do, and you hear about it very, very seldomly, but it still happens, as you said. There's scams that have been out there and theft and crime that's out there, and this is all predates Bitcoin. It's not Bitcoin that's the criminal, it's criminals.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, looking forward towards the future, hopefully there's lots of great growth and more awareness for Bitcoin in the next year or two, as hopefully the next cycle continues. How is Coinsource preparing for the future, and where are you looking to grow, and how are you looking to expand to bring Bitcoin to more people?
It all really has been very consistent with our business model that we forged from the very beginning. It's provide Bitcoin to the masses at the lowest possible rates that we can offer. And part of that we're able to do is because we have developed our own software system, not just the operating software, but again the compliance side of it. So there is no middleman. We're all about, direct single source solution provider. We're the only single source solution provider from start to finish. It's all exclusive through Coinsource, and as a result of that, we don't have any kind of middleman cost, if you will, of having to pay a software provider to use their network. And regional or community banks. We've got national banking. Actually, it's another exclusive aspect of Coinsource, is that we've got bank accounts in all 50 states. And that has strategically positioned us to be able to keep the costs down, because we've got vaults in all 50 states, so we're able to manage the cash effectively and efficiently to always make sure that this is a very scalable model. So as demand continues to increase for Bitcoin and for purchasing Bitcoin, we are really carrying the torch as far as providing that at the lowest rates possible. And so it's a very easy recipe to continue to expand, and as demand continues globally, Coinsource will be there.
Incredible. And any insights and guesstimates, as no one knows the future, Derek, on where you see Bitcoin going within the next year, and will we be heading back into the next bull market if there is trouble, and the U.S. economy seems like it's uneasy? Do you think Bitcoin will benefit from that?
So I'm not one to ever speculate, where Bitcoin's going to go. But what I can say is that I don't think that it's going to be going anywhere. I don't think it's going to be going away. I think that as the economies around the world continue to fluctuate the way that they have, I think that it's only going to be more attractive for people to diversify their financial portfolio. And if they haven't already taken a dive into the world of crypto and Bitcoin, I think that it's going to continue to be very appealing to them. And again, that's why we've strategically positioned ourselves to make it as easy as possible for those individuals.
I agree, Derek. And for the people that want to look, where's the nearest Coinsource ATM, or start setting up an account with Coinsource, what's the best way to learn more about that?
Straight at our website, coinsource.net. You can create your account there. You can find your closest location there. It's a very easy map system to where it knows where you are, and it just points you in the direction of the closest kiosk to you.
Sounds great, and I will leave that link in the description box below as well. Thanks for your insights into the Bitcoin ATM world and into Bitcoin. I appreciate the time, Derek, and let's follow up in the near future.
Sounds good, Ashton. Thanks for having me again.